Today, we're diving into 7 reasons why change is hard for people experiencing chronic homelessness, and more importantly, what we can do about it. When you're focused on survival, future planning is tough. Think about it. How easy would it be to set long-term goals if you didn't even know where you'd be sleeping tonight? Or where you'd stay warm? Or how you'd avoid getting into a fight just trying to exist? Change is hard for anyone. Throw in chronic homelessness, and the complexity skyrockets. Sometimes, people assume that if the right opportunity comes along, change should be easy. But it's not just about the opportunity, it's about the capacity and motivation to change when survival takes up just about every ounce of mental energy. Trauma, mental health, substance use, and brain injury add extra layers. Trauma wires the brain to prioritize safety and predictability over change, even if that change is positive. Let that sink in. The brain does whatever it takes to protect the person, even if that means resisting the very thing that could improve their life. Add in things like PTSD, depression, anxiety, or other mental health conditions, and it gets even harder. And let's be real. Many people are in a position where they self-medicate with substances just to cope. That doesn't make them weak, it makes them human. But it also makes it darn near impossible to navigate the bureaucratic maze of housing and support systems, even for people who are sober and well-resourced. Now imagine trying to do it while dealing with multiple challenges at once. Pretty overwhelming, right? Loss of autonomy and institutionalization makes independent decision-making harder. If you've spent years in shelters, hospitals, or jails where everything is dictated to you, what to do, when to do it, how to do it, independence isn't just a skill you lose. It's something that starts to feel unsafe. Housing sounds like a great idea until it doesn't. If every part of your life has been structured by necessity, breaking free from that structure can feel destabilizing instead of liberating. Fear of the unknown is real. The streets and shelters may be harsh, but they're familiar for people who are chronically homeless. And we as humans gravitate toward that which we know, even if what we know isn't great. Housing for many people who are chronically homeless is unknown. And unknown triggers questions like, will I fail? Will I be able to pay the rent? What if I lose my community? Fear of failure can be stronger than the drive to change, especially for someone who's had past experiences where things just didn't work out. Weak social supports makes change even harder. Let me ask you something. Would you give up your community for a change you weren't sure was going to work? For many people experiencing chronic homelessness, the people around them are their family, their street family. They may not have parents or siblings that they can rely on, but they have each other. Isolation is a real risk when transitioning to housing. If someone doesn't feel like they have support on the other side, staying put, even if it's not the best situation, can make more sense. Repeated failures kill the will to try again. Imagine trying something new. A new job, a new relationship, a new life choice, and failing at it. Now imagine failing multiple times, not always because of your choices, but because the support just wasn't there. At some point, you stop getting back up. You stop believing it's possible. You think, maybe this is just my life. And the thing is, that belief is learned. It's the direct result of a system that sets people up for failure and then blames them for not trying harder. The bureaucracy is a nightmare. Have you ever tried to deal with government paperwork? Now try to imagine doing it while you're homeless, dealing with trauma, mental illness, addiction, and having no phone, no transportation, and sometimes no one to help you. Where do you go? What form do you fill out? What if you're missing one piece of ID and they tell you to come back next week? A lack of navigators in these systems means people give up before they even get a chance to succeed. Meanwhile, their homelessness drags on. Their life situation worsens, and the cycle just continues. At some point, you may start to feel unworthy, like the system is moving forward and you're being left behind because you couldn't fill out a friggin' form. So what can we do about it? It's not enough to identify the problem, my friends. We need solutions. Things like expanded peer supports. People who have made it out of homelessness are often the best people to guide others through it. Lived experience brings empathy, reassurance, and practical help. We also have to use trauma-informed care. Once we fully appreciate that resistance to change is often a trauma response, not a lack of will, we can start meeting people where they're at. Safety and trust come first. We also need to offer lower barrier, person-centered approaches. This isn't about forcing solutions on people. It's about helping people access what actually works for them. And we need to support the change process and sustain it. No one should be punished for setbacks. Change is not linear. Instead of shaming people for relapses or struggles, let's focus on what was learned and how it can help them keep moving forward. We also need to invest in working on the system, not just in the system. If we are not trying to unscrew up the system at the same time as we support people in navigating through a broken system, we will never get further ahead. Here's some final thoughts. Change is possible, but we need to stop blaming individuals for systemic failures and start creating real pathways to success. If we're serious about ending chronic homelessness, it's us who have to get serious about making change possible, accessible, and sustainable. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please hit the like button and the subscribe button and consider sharing it in your networks. And if you want to keep the conversation going, drop some thoughts in the comments.